This is my audience.
Texting affects face-to-face relationships. It's a proven fact and there's no getting around this problem. According to Zwan Billins, who wrote an article on goodtherapy.org, he gave his input and stated that texting encourages rapid-fire, single-sentence thoughts, but this style of communication isn't conducive to face-to-face communication. He also stated that texting is almost by definition surface-level communication. When people communicate primarily through text, they're much less likely to have a meaningful conversation. Therefore, people who text a lot find it uncomfortable when being in a face-to-face conversation. Children have become very attached to electronics. Texting at the dinner table is just one of many examples of how texting has become a bigger and bigger problem. It is not just texting, it's also social media. The use of smartphones is outrageous, and it's not only today's youth, but also some of the older generations. And when it comes to texting at the dinner table or being on our phones, it puts us in our own little bubble and excludes us from interacting in conversations with others around the table. It has become a force of habit, especially for those who are very attached to their phones, and texting and social media are the cause of all this. Children are even starting to use their cell phones to communicate with people who are right next to them. I've seen people sit back to back and talk to one another by texting. They will sit there and laugh about the conversation they are having, but they will not turn around and talk to each other face to face. This problem is not just in one place in the world. It's universal, and it affects everyone that is involved with the internet. Children are becoming more and more attached to their phones, making it hard for them to connect with others in public. In today's world, we all need to have good communication skills. For most jobs, it's a very necessary skill to have when talking to a large crowd. It's in very high demand that all generations should be able to be good at public speaking. It's part of everyone's job. And if the younger generation can't even talk face-to-face with their own peers, how are they supposed to speak to a large crowd of people? AllinaHealth.org wrote an article on how much screen time is healthy. And in this article, they express that when you are texting, you can't catch the tone of people's voices, see their expressions as they change from sad to outraged to happy, and you can't look them in the eye to see if they are lying or telling the truth. When you are so used to looking down at your phone screen instead of making eye contact with other people, it makes it difficult to attempt to make eye contact in a face-to-face conversation. Texting and social media are making it very difficult for today's younger generation to communicate with the public. All phones should have a timer that would shut off after so many hours of use. If this happens, then people will have no choice as to how long they can use their phones, which is a good thing because according to an article by Kathy Schlettergen, who is a Latin educationist, the AAP recommends avoiding digital media except for video chatting for babies ages 0 to 18 months. For children ages 2 to 5, the AAP suggests limiting entertainment screen time, including TV, video games, and computer use, to 1 hour a day. They also recommend setting reasonable screen time limits for kids ages 6 to 18. To help decrease the problem, parents and cell phone companies can put a timer on phones to ensure people are not overusing their phones. Everyone can download an app that makes their phone shut off after a certain amount of time. According to Zhang Shui, who wrote an article on Apple.com, if you have an iPhone, the Apple Store has an app you can download called Cell Phone Addiction Timer, Screen Time Unplugged. Apple customer reviews say that it's annoying, but in a good way. The solution will not allow you to use your cell phone once you have set time and that time is up. You have a timer that will help you to be more socially involved with others. If you're on your phone longer than you need to, it sends endless reminders and it's time to focus on the real world. The public will for sure have a hard time adjusting, but will hopefully realize in time that it's for the best and will help better their face-to-face communication skills.